Okay, and we are live. Welcome to another live edition of Elevate Your Grind, brought to you by the Cannabis Lab. My name is Todd Rosales, and I am your host for this lovely show. Um, if you guys watched last week, we had somebody in PR, actually the master of PR, Rosie Matteo, talking about how to advertise and how PR works with cannabis companies. We're going to get somebody today on the other side of that, somebody who is in charge of marketing for an awesome cannabis brand here in Florida. He actually had a really good interview that was released by Forbes yesterday, so he's certainly slumming it with us here today. But please welcome our guest, the Senior Director of Marketing and Sales for GrowHealthy, Jeff Finnerty.
Oh, thanks, Todd. It's great to be here. Excited to chat today.
No, thank you very much for coming. From somebody who had a nice piece in Forbes come out yesterday, I appreciate you slumming it up with us here on Elevate Your Grind.
I don't look at it that way, but I'm always excited to talk about the cannabis industry, especially in Florida. And of course, I love talking about GrowHealthy and our folks and our patients, of course, as well. So it's always look forward to the opportunity to do that.
Very cool. Well, we were very happy to have GrowHealthy on with us and have you on with us specifically. We get a lot of information on GrowHealthy from VJ, who's on the board and has done an amazing job at Cannabis Lab, and he's participated on a ton of panels. But as I like to joke around, VJ is on the side of the business of what you can't say. And to me, the sales and marketing is so much more fun because it's what you can say and what you want to say, right? So Jeff,
Yep.
I'm really excited to get into some of the things you're doing, but give us a little bit of your background. How did you get started with GrowHealthy?
Sure. Well, I've got a long marketing and sales background. I spent 16 years actually working for the Coca-Cola company, where an opportunity to really learn about understanding consumers and markets and brands, and that was a great run for me. And I spent some time in the food service world as well. As I was looking for the next stage of my career, one of the things that happened to me personally, I have a younger sister who suffers from fibromyalgia, and for years she was on disability, wasn't able to hold a job, and then she lives in Connecticut. They legalized medical cannabis there, and she sought that as an opportunity to get some relief from her symptoms. And it was remarkably powerful, the change in her life, her ability to just simply, re-engage in relationships and family activities, which she would make plans and then have to cancel them because she just couldn't get out of the house that day. She certainly couldn't hold a job. Within a few years of a regimen of medical cannabis, she was not only re-engaging in activities with family and friends, things that she probably didn't think were a part of her life anymore. But she got and still has today a very physically demanding job doing environmental cleanup around the New Haven, Connecticut harbor and wharf. And for somebody who could barely get off the couch, to be able to have that kind of physically demanding job and a sense of independence and the ability to support herself and live her life, it's just so powerful, that when this opportunity came up, I leaped at the chance to be a part of the industry, and to be able to put my time and effort around creating awareness, access to medical cannabis. And the story I told about my sister is, I hear it back tenfold every day from our patients. We got a voicemail from a woman just a week ago. We launched our RSO products in February. And this voicemail literally said, "Your company is going to save my life." Her doctor could not believe the change in her cell counts and what it had started to do for her. And so she just wanted to make sure we were going to continue to make it and it would be available. And but it's so powerful, what cannabis can do for people, and change lives for the better. And that's GrowHealthy. Our mission is to help people live happier, healthier lives. And I see it every day, and it's a real motivation for me and my team to continue to try to find the next thing, whether it's new product development or access through delivery services, or making sure that we're able to provide access in our dispensaries despite some limitations put on us by the COVID-19 pandemic. So it was not a path I could have envisioned a couple of years ago, but I can't envision really working in any other industry right now. I'm extremely excited about it.
No, and I couldn't agree more with that. I mean, that's part of the reason why I love this industry so much is, by working hard and doing your job, you really are helping people, right? I
Mhm.
think the unfortunate part about the cannabis industry is we still have that stigma attached to us, and there's still a stigma attached to the plant, although we've all been deemed essential services during the COVID-19 crisis. I think it's unfortunate that sometimes it takes an experience like the one that you went through to get people to open their eyes to the plant and realize that the majority of people that are medical patients in our state, especially, are medical patients. They're using it for some kind of treatment. It's not the historic stoners that people are considering. And listen, are they out there? Absolutely. But they're probably the minority, right? Cody
Mhm.
Sanchez was on this podcast and she said, if you market and look at the traditional cannabis market and user, you're going to fail. um a question for you, and if you don't mind sharing with us, did you have an opinion of cannabis before you saw that firsthand?
Sure. Yeah. No. And for me, it wasn't something I spent a lot of time thinking about or researching. Really, my experience with or around cannabis had been framed by a recreational product, like more akin to the use of alcohol.
Hmm.
Until really start, I got a call to come investigate this opportunity from a career standpoint from a good friend of mine I worked for over a decade with at Coca-Cola, Mike Metter, who is our VP GM, is GrowHealthy for us in Florida.
Oh,
And
very cool.
I couldn't, when he reached out, he said, "Hey, I got an opportunity. I'm going to take this job. Love you. Come join the leadership team." And I said, "Okay, what are you doing?" He said, "Well, I'm going to hang up the phone. I'm going to send you a link to the website, and let me know." Right? I was shocked, right? And I said, "You got to be kidding me!" But talked for a couple of months, and I was just really blown away. And it completely changed my perspective coming in. But then just the first 30 days in the job, spending time in our dispensaries, talking to patients, spending time with our medical sales team, and interacting with the physicians and the clinics around the state, it was a complete 180 on my opinion of it. And to me now, I try to frame everything up as how I viewed cannabis 12 months ago, when I'm talking to people that are on the edge, even patients who are, my doctor suggested maybe we do this, but I still think of it as um, something out of a '70s movie. Um,
Yeah.
to really help them understand that, compared to some of the other options to treat things like pain and sleep and anxiety and depression, this is the potential to be a huge benefit without a lot of the risk that come with those other solutions.
No, I couldn't agree more. And I have a wife who's an addiction counselor, and that's really what opened my eyes to it. And it is unfortunate that people have to go through these experiences, but it is nice, right? It is nice to see the upside of the cannabis market and see how much good it's putting out there. And I can focus on that forever. But I want to get back into your background. So you have a very deep background in the food and beverage industry in
Yeah.
sales and marketing. So you come from food and beverage and you're going to cannabis, which is highly regulated, and the marketing tactics are very, very restricted. As Rosie Matteo told us, New York Times may not be able to take a cannabis advertiser, but they can write an article on a cannabis company. you know, how hard was it to adjust from your background with, and I looked at your LinkedIn, Coca-Cola and Firehouse Subs. I mean, two very notable companies
Mhm.
that, were probably not easy to get advertising, but nobody said no to you, versus all of
Right.
a sudden coming to Grow Healthy, you're dealing with cannabis and Facebook doesn't really let you do much. Other social media platforms don't let you do much. Google will flag you, right? So how
Yep.
is it operating in this restricted environment? Did you almost have to go back to the basics and figure out how to redo your strategies?
Yeah. Well, we're right off the bat. Well, a couple of things. One thing that served me well that I knew was my mission walking in the door from working for a company like Coke for 16 years, is that everything revolves around the consumer. Here, that's the patient. I really look at Florida as we have two groups of customers: our patients, and then all clinics and the doctors, right? Because they're the ones that are educating patients for the first time and helping them make a decision on where they're going. So really the first step for me was doing a comprehensive research study, based using the data available from the OMMU, the data from our own point of sale systems, and then direct, survey interactions with uh, physicians and with patients, right? Which was great because we really got to understand who is the Florida medical patient consumer for us, what's important to them, what are they using it for, what do they want to hear and learn, where do they go to get educated about cannabis. So once you have all of those things, which took the first 60 days or so in a roll, then we got to the roadblock that you're talking about, which is great. Now we know what to talk about. We're to develop some products that fit into this. How in the heck do we tell everyone about it, right? And the two largest digital ad networks in the world are run by Google and Facebook, and they won't touch it.
Yeah.
They won't take your money. They won't let you advertise there. So it was, we got to go back and advertise like we're in the 1980s, without kind of the digital advertising platforms. But what's clear is that the cannabis patients, the 330 so thousand in Florida, right? They're out there educating themselves and they're seeking information, which is great because then we can use platforms, our own digital platforms like, our social media channels, which are also very tricky, right? You have to be very careful about what you post on your own Instagram page, not paid advertising, but just your post. You'll get flagged or suspended or lose an account on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. But then spending a lot of time and energy and effort in building out your people who opt into your email and your text, right? That's your way to have a one-on-one conversation or one-on-many conversation with the patients that have interacted with your brand. And then from there, you got to find ways to kind of create viral moments or expand that message beyond the people who've already interacted with you. And so some of the things we've done are activating a network of social influencers, right? Things that we can't talk about on our channels socially because we're a business and we'll run into some issues with those providers. Individuals that have a following on Twitter or Instagram are able to talk much more about their experience with our brand, right? And so we find them and create relationships and brand loyalists and allow them to carry some of our message that goes beyond just our email and our text audience. And then for me, some of it is just when we took that time to understand what the patients in Florida were looking for, whether that was, greater variety from a price point standpoint, learn more about the products, a product like RSO, is developing those products. And then once we have the ability to put those in the marketplace, activating our relationships with physicians who have those dialogues on a daily basis with every new patient that's coming into the marketplace, and building the awareness around new brands and products through those clinics, through our social influencer network, through our own media channels. But we haven't really done any paid advertising. We don't do print, we don't do radio, we don't do television, and we can't buy internet ads. So, it's really getting back to, knowing that we deliver a great patient experience. We've got terrific, approachable dispensaries with really educated, compassionate patient care representatives working in there, and that we rely on that experience to carry itself and to spread, from patient to patient through the community.
That's incredible, having to kind of create almost your own word of mouth, right? So like you said, you're almost going all the way back to the early days of advertising, where you've got the newsies on the corner, extra, read all about it, right? Just delivering information to people to shout it from the rooftops for you. With our conversation with Rosie and talking about getting written up in articles, and clearly you being in Forbes yesterday, or on their website, is PR a very big part of marketing in the cannabis space? Just getting people to write about you is kind of a guerrilla way of getting into the publications that won't let you buy space?
It is. Yeah, I think it's critical. That was one of the first things that that I wanted to accomplish coming into the role last year was to find a PR firm that really worked well with from a consumer standpoint, not a PR firm that's focused on investors or the business trade magazines, but somebody that can create consumer awareness, patient awareness. As we've really grown from a retail footprint, and so as we enter every one of these communities, we want to make sure that we create a little bit of noise and let people know that we're there. And so, we have a fantastic public relations firm, the Zimmerman Agency, based up in Tallahassee, Florida, and they're terrific at really understanding our business, understanding our mission, and understanding our patient base, and then having great conversations with local media in these communities where we're opening dispensaries and helping to spread the word about why grow healthy, and that we're there. And we've really had a lot of success in having very strong dispensary openings because of really two things: the preceding and the awareness created through PR, and then the other piece is that our medical sales team that goes into those communities and meets with every doctor that's licensed through the OMMU to write these recommendations and have a wide grow healthy conversation with those doctors well ahead of us opening that dispensary in the community, so that they're aware we're there, they're aware of how we're going to help with the continuum of care. Right, you leave that doctor's office. We want those doctors and clinics to understand that when somebody walks in as a first-time patient to Grow Healthy, we're going to have a conversation about why they're there and find them the things that they're most comfortable about. We know that it's not the same thing that's going to work for every person, right? And so we'll work them through that journey until they find something that's addressing their most dire needs, or the symptoms that are the ones that they're trying to address the most. And we have that continuing dialogue with those folks, and then we can circle back and get feedback from those physicians on how we're doing, and the feedback they get from their patients that are also our patients, and we try to continue to evolve those relationships and conversations.
I think the physician relationships are really important as well. And I commend you on what you guys have done with Grow Healthy. I've gone to the Deerfield location. I was very impressed with the experience there. Candidly, what got me to go in, I think I was on Leafly or one of those sites, maybe iHeart, and the Grow Healthy logo was actually replaced with buy one, get one free pre-rolls. And every
Yeah.
Grow Healthy location had that logo, and I
Yep.
clicked on it. And I remember we were on our way to a C-Lab event in Fort Lauderdale, and I go, hey, I got to stop in Deerfield and go to Grow Healthy. And now, granted, it was a special that brought me in the door, but I was extremely
Yep.
impressed by the experience when I got there and the conversations that were had. And then on top of that, the employees of Grow Healthy, and beyond just the people who work in the dispensaries, are amazing advocates. So I've spent a lot of time with both VJ and then Pablo, who runs the IT systems there.
Yep.
And they, they can't say enough good things about not only the company but the products that you're putting out there as well. And it's really refreshing to see that, and I'm glad that you guys have created that culture there.
Yeah, I think that's a testament to our leadership in on the retail side. Hannah Lewis runs that for us, and she's got a great kind of strategy around hiring people in each community and dispensary that really have a mix of backgrounds, and so you get a diversity of thought and experience. And we have folks that are schooled and trained cannabis nurses that are running stores. We have somebody else who has a PhD in microbiology, another one who's a botanist. We've got folks that have strong retail background from other industries, whether that's clothing or food service. And as you bring these folks together, they all contribute their strengths and experiences, but the commonality is a belief in the power of this plant, and these are like focus on helping our patients. That's the day in and day out goal is no patient left behind, and that we want to demonstrate that over and over as best we can. And your experience where you're brought in with a promotion around buy one get one on a pre-roll, it's kind of how we approach all of our new patient journey. Anyone who comes to Grow Healthy for the first time, we're going to offer you a 25% discount on whatever you buy. And then what's going to happen, and I think this is a very important thing, is we're going to call you 7 to 10 days later, and we're going to just see how your experience was. You know, live person on the phone, and ask you, did the product you found or you tried the first time work for you? Do you have any questions? And at that point, we're going to let you know when you come in the second time, where now you've had your experience there, you're going to get a $75 off of a $150 spend. Right. So, even higher value. And we think, by that time, that first time, you may not want to spend $150 because you're not sure yet what you want. But that second time, you've got a little more knowledge, and we want to keep you engaged with us. And that phone call, I think, is really critical in that continuum of care I was talking about before. And then another program that we're getting up and running as well is that, we find all the time that patients aren't quite aware of when they've got to go back and get recertified at the end of that 210 days. And, there's no automated way for their physicians to let them know. But we've got that data, so we can start calling folks 30 days out, let them know. So the last thing we want is somebody who's now found a product that works for them, they're addressing their symptoms, they're living a happier, healthy life, and then all of a sudden their time runs out. They can't purchase. They got, it takes time to go in to see your physician. Then you got to wait 5 days for the state to get you your card. We can get you out in front of that, and that's just all part of hopefully some value that we're adding beyond just being there and available to provide the cannabis itself.
That's incredible. And I believe I got that phone call, and it definitely caught me by surprise. And I can tell you, the education that your team has is great, because I'm somebody who is pretty educated on what's out there, but I always love talking to people about this. And I've learned a lot from the Grow Healthy staff. And, I'm a little spoiled, and I tend to text VJ or Pablo whenever I need something, because I always like having insider information. But, they've been incredibly helpful, and the staff inside is very helpful. I want to pivot back to your strategies again. So food and beverage, getting in with Grow Healthy. So now you're going to a regulated market. You've kind of have to rethink the way that you're doing everything, very much a guerrilla approach. And then all of a sudden COVID-19 hits, and there's no more events, no more going to physicians' offices, no more in-person stuff, which in the cannabis industry, in-person is a very big part of our industry, because we've just been kind of pushed out that way, right? We can't get on Facebook, we can't get on social, so we do in-person events. How has that shifted your strategy now that you do have to social distance, and you're not able to host patient events, and you're not able to come to C-Lab and all that stuff? How has that changed what you guys are doing?
Well, I'll tell you one thing that we're very fortunate is that we had started a project back in December to develop an entire new website that was, e-commerce enabled, and that has really, I believe, the deepest and richest information about every one of our products. And so some of that experience where you walk in and you're able to ask questions about a particular product, we've got on our new website, growhealthy.com, every product you click on, there's amazing photography that you can zoom in on, see to whether it's flower or a cartridge or a syringe, and then you've got a really detailed description that's been put together with our growers and our extraction specialists, and then below that you can see the terpene profile, and then what that means from an aroma or a taste or a symptom benefit. You can search by the symptom and find some products that would help you with that particular ailment. And it's e-commerce enabled. Before, you can go in now and you put it in your cart, you send it through, and you'll get a text as soon as your order is ready to come to the dispensary, and we're doing the curbside pickup. So we went very quickly, I think, as quick as anyone in the state, to first limiting the number of people that would come in and pushing this order and pickup. And then within days of even that, went to a drive-through or curbside takeaway. But you've got this website that enables all of this information, and we tripled the size of our call center. So access to people that if you want a consultation, if you want to talk about products and needs, that we still have those people at your fingertips, and that you walk through that process. But the website was a huge piece for us. In enabling a pre-order and pickup, a contactless experience as best we could. In addition to that, we immediately started working on how do we ramp up our delivery options. And I'll break a little news for you here, actually, on the show here.
Exclusive right here on Elevate Your Grind. Breaking news for the first time.
I might get in a little trouble later, but I'm going to go ahead and break it anyway. So we've really worked on optimizing our existing free statewide no minimum order delivery, right? That is something that we've always offered. We've never strayed away from that. And last week, we launched a pilot test in Orlando of Trailblazer by GrowHealthy, which is on-demand, same-day delivery of flower and all our other cannabis products. So we're day 7 of that test, and it's going great. You go to growhealthy.com. If you choose for delivery and you type in a zip code that's included in our zip code list, which is basically a 20-mile radius around our dispensary in Orlando, you'll get an estimated time of arrival right there at order, and we've got a van on its way to you with the product, right? So that's an exciting test, and hopefully we'll be able to expand that. But the news I'm going to break here, which people have been asking for a long time, and we're finally in a position to do it, is that starting on Thursday, we'll begin to offer flower in our delivery statewide, again with free delivery, and that's something that we've never been able to do before. In January, we started making pre-rolls available via delivery, but we've gotten lots of requests, and I get asked all the time, when are you guys going to be able to deliver flower? And I'm very excited to let folks know that starting Thursday, that's a reality for GrowHealthy. So.
Thank you so much. So that's the first time we've ever broke news here on Elevate Your Grind. I'm going to mark my calendar for Thursday because I want to participate in that for sure. I love going through these delivery experiences. I'm really excited to test it out.
Mm-hmm.
So
awesome. It's exciting, and hopefully we'll the success of the same day delivery, the on-demand delivery in Florida, if that continues to, we'll get better and more efficient and understand the demand and what we need to do to expand that. The idea, of course, is if it's successful in Orlando, that's something that can spread to other larger markets. But we'll always continue to cover the entire state with our regular standard delivery, which again is, we don't charge for it. We don't have a minimum. And now virtually every product that's available in a store is available, through our website, or if you call in for delivery.
Very cool. And I think it's, we started this topic when we talked about COVID-19, and I think it is an unfortunate situation for the country and for everybody that's going through it. For the cannabis industry, I don't want to say it's a blessing because it's certainly not, but I think it's kind of thrust the cannabis industry into the spotlight and kind of said, okay, we're deeming you essential. You say that you're medical. Let's see what you do. And I love seeing companies like GrowHealthy really taking advantage of that. And now you're almost able to operate the way that you should be able to operate with delivery, with curbside pickup, with an e-commerce platform, right? Now, if we can really get into cashless payments, true cashless payments and access the debit card system, it would be incredible. But I think that's the one silver lining in this COVID-19 situation. And it's really cool to see what you guys are doing to ensure that everybody can get what they need. The unfortunate part, we are a little short on time today, but I want to know, what are you guys working on right now? What's next for GrowHealthy, and what can we look forward to seeing for the rest of this year?
Well, you're going to get me in trouble here with breaking all kinds of news, right?
We can try to edit this out later, but I think the people are going to want to hear it.
No, I am really excited about some of the things that we have directly in front of us. In the next 7 to 10 days, we're going to open 2 more dispensaries. One in Clearwater, Largo, and one in Cape Coral. So that's exciting to just enter new communities and build relationships there with patients and give them access to the products that we're really excited about. In addition to that, we're definitely focused on additional brand and product development. We've launched some exciting things like our Master Grower Series flower, which is really a focus on a few small batch, limited time strains. And we've had 2 strains out there that our growers are really passionate about. And we'll have some new strains coming soon that will replace those. And there's great knowledge and story behind each of those, and so we'll begin sharing those. We started something in February called the Signature Blend Series, which are carts that are we take the terpene profiles from different strains and blend them together and create truly unique, one-time only experiences with a cartridge. And so we just launched about a week and a half ago a product called Bermuda Triangle, which was 3 different strains kind of blended together, and have some great feedback on that. And we're a couple of weeks away from launching the next one, which is sour silly bean. So that's it's fun to do that, but we've also had some folks give great feedback on the impact for them and their experience with some of these Signature Blend Series products. And then we're going to be developing some categories we don't currently play in. And for us, I'm not going to spill the beans and all the details, but we absolutely want to get into the concentrate category. It's something that we know that there's people looking for, and we're hard working on that path to bring new categories of products that we don't currently offer to our patient base. So you'll see that in the next month or two, some big news around that as well.
Very cool. Well, I'm very excited to watch you guys grow. I've enjoyed seeing the journey thus far. Like I said, VJ, Pablo, they've been great advocates of GrowHealthy within Cannabis Lab. Pablo's actually participated on a few panels with me. Same with VJ. We had him on our Compliance Guys podcast. So we love GrowHealthy here. Very, very thankful to have you. And hopefully we can get you on a few panels when we're able to get back in person.
That would be great. I appreciate the opportunity to come and talk with you today, and I appreciate everything you guys do, around the awareness and education of our industry. I think that to your point that there's that perception and stigma that's still out there, but the more folks like you, Todd, that are out there, educating folks on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, the tide will turn, and I think there's nothing but a bright future for our industry, and I think that's a positive thing for people across this country, because it's got the power to enhance their lives on a daily basis, and that's again the most rewarding part of all of this.
Well, you keep working on putting great product out there, and I'll be on the air every week making sure people know how good it is. So I can keep that promise to you. Jeff, how can we find you if we want to get in touch with you, if we want to read your articles, or if we want to access GrowHealthy?
Sure. Well, GrowHealthy.com is, again, it's our brand new website. It's been up about 3 or 4 weeks now, but there's a wealth of knowledge on there. You can certainly contact us straight through there, and get whatever information you need. You can find me on LinkedIn. See some articles like the one in Cannabis Business Times I did a few weeks ago, and then the Forbes article from yesterday. And you can, of course, reach out and connect with me. And I always am excited to make new connections and build my network in our industry. So.
Very cool. Jeff, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you all at home for joining us today. This has been another episode of Elevate Your Grind, brought to you by the Cannabis Lab. My name is Todd Rosales. I am your host. If you guys, again, we're going to have our recorded episodes coming out every Monday and Thursday at 4:20 p.m. Check those out. We do them live when we record them, so this way we can get the information to you, but they're always great to digest after the fact. If you want to look at the whole library, check us out on YouTube. Just search for Elevate Your Grind. You want to find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Canna Business Group. And if you're interested in joining C-Lab and seeing what it's all about, check us out at www.clab.com. Looking at the schedule here, folks, we are happy to treat you to the premiere of the interview with D. Williams was yesterday, and then this week we have Brian Passman coming up, and also on Thursday we have one of our members only events. So come check that out. Again, www.clab.com. Listen, folks, I do this to put the education out there, to put the information out there. I learned something today. I hope you learned something today too, and we'll see you next time.